Tradition holds that the first Gentile church was founded in Antioch, as it is recorded in Acts 11:19-26. Now those who had been scattered by the persecution in connection with Stephen traveled as far as Phoenicia, Cyprus, and Antioch, telling the message only to Jews. Some of them, however, men from Cyprus and Cyrene, went to Antioch and began to speak to the Greeks also, telling them the good news about the Lord Jesus. The Lord's hand was with them, and a great number of people believed and turned to the Lord. So, for a whole year, Barnabas and Saul met with the church and taught great numbers of people. The disciples were called Christians, first at Antioch. It was from Antioch that St. Paul started on his missionary journeys. To be clear, there is a church and there is a church building. It is believed that the first Christian church was established in Jerusalem at the site of the Last Supper, whereas the first church building is at Dura Europos in Syria. This concept, due to popular memory, has been slightly distorted. According to the Apostle Paul, the church is where believers gather to pray and partake in the rituals, which could be in the forest, desert, or someone's home, as was the initial practice. As a missionary, one of Paul's first tasks in establishing Christianity in a new city would be to secure a gathering place. To this point, the homes of people with considerable means served nicely since they were of sufficient size to accommodate large gatherings. Historians and archaeologists agree. Based on evidence of texts and physical locals, the Christian church was a converted domestic space. In his book, The Social Origins of Christian Architecture, L. Michael White explains, the Dura Christian building is a true domus ecclesiae insofar as it was converted private house, which after remodeling ceased to be used for domestic functions. On the basis of an inscription in an undercoat of wet plaster and architectural analysis, White argues that the house was built in 232-233. Renovated for use as a church in 240 or 241, and thus in use as a church for only about 15 years before its burial. The functions in several of the spaces were still unclear, but these reconstructed floor plans and isometric floor plans show what archaeologists believe to be use of each room. The large assembly hall on the south side of the house originally had a wall bisecting it, with the raised platform on the niche for holding rituals, objects, or texts. The room in the northwest corner, which came to be called the baptistry, has the main evidence of Christian art and ritual at Dura Europos. As we can see from these images, the first shows the elevation of the north and south walls, the second is the apse to the baptistry, the third of an eastern wall with the procession of women, and lastly the fourth is a northwest wall with Christ healing a paralytic and another of him walking on water. The mystery that shrouds Jesus in the Christian faith is also evoked at another early church site. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, found in the 4th century, Jerusalem's Church of the Holy Sepulchre enshrines the place where many Christians believe Jesus Christ was crucified, buried, and raised from the dead. This is the site where many of Jesus' miracles took place, as indicated in the second image, including several that are depicted on the walls of the baptistry of the Christian building at Dura Europos. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre is a site that has undergone several physical changes and periods of both Christian and Muslim construction. The evolution of the edicule is a prime example. In 325 to 335 CE, Emperor Constantine had Hadrian's Roman temple raised, revealing an intact tomb below. The site was believed to be the burial place of Christ, and an imperial delegation by Emperor Constantine had an ornate shrine built around the tomb, which was the original version of the church.